Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? Welcome to a brand new camp build. Today we've headed up to the Mire and we're doing a kind of modern cabin sort of build, which has come out rather nicely, I think. I quite like this place. So let's jump in and see how this looks. Okay, so just hanging out in my living room. So yeah, the idea here was a kind of modern-shaped cabin sort of thing using mixed materials, which has come out quite well. There's a couple of changes I've made in the decoration phase that I'll sort of talk about as we go along, but yeah, pretty pleased with this. It's nice and cosy. So, up in the Mire, as we can see, there's my modern cabin, just on the south end of the lake here near Thunder Mountain. There's Brexton Quality Medical Supplies, Crevice Dam, and the power plant itself. Yeah, good spot this. The sort of southern edge of this lake has a few areas either on the actual water or a little back from it, as is the case here, that are really quite cool to build on. So, quite a good little spot this. It's basically on water, as you can see here. There's kind of a little island there. This is actually where I dropped my camp unit. Got one foundation in already, just to sort of clear the upper edge of the ground there. We're going to start building out from that. So the core building is just a 2x2, and then that extra foundation is going to be part of an extra room on the outside. We'll get some walls on here. So I've used brick walls on the bottom half, and then basically log cabin stuff up top, although I've mixed a few other bits in as well. Although I did it during the decoration phase, what I actually went and did was double up these walls on the bottom so that I could have wallpaper on the outside. There's a really nice set of brick wallpaper that came, I think it was last season, that I decided to use on the outside. It makes a really nice shade and looks quite cool. So we'll get to that in the tour, but yeah, there will be a need to double up these walls, which, as I say, I did during the decoration phase, so I can't show you that bit, but standard 2 doors back-to-back technique. Had to take the foundations off again afterwards. Heading upstairs, using this staircase with a frame, because obviously a 2x2 is absolutely minuscule, so squeezing a staircase in here at all is challenging. We're going to go for a bit of an odd shape up here. So this is where it gets to be a tad more modern in its look. We're going to kind of go around this floor piece in the corner and have a little kind of balcony area and then an L-shaped interior space incorporating the staircase. So not a lot of room, but it works out alright. And we want a nice sloping roof that is going to slope all the way across the top here, and then the tiny little structure on the side will kind of lean in the other direction. So the end result here is actually a building that is much taller than I normally go. Like the equivalent of a full wall piece above the height I would normally go for. In this case, it's actually worked out quite well. Normally, I think really tall buildings look odd in Fallout. Just my take on it, the perspective and the size of things just looks a bit weird. In this case, I think it came out okay. So we've got all of our triangular pieces in. We can now get the roofs in. I'm going to go for my usual favourites here, the haunted house ones. I do really like these pieces. I imagine that haunted house set will be making a reappearance next month, with Halloween being just around the corner. There's a whole load of Halloween stuff scheduled, so it should be cool. So we get a little roof over what will be our balcony here. Find the railings, which seem to get harder and harder to find, to be honest to me. But they're here somewhere. There they are. We'll snap those on the side. We have to make a little adjustment here in a bit as well. Now we're downstairs. We're going to put some foundations around the outside, which I could have done right at the start, but it's kind of easier to see what you're doing if you don't. So I added them afterwards, and then I don't end up snapping walls in the wrong place. We'll run this round. We're going to have a little building on the side here that'll actually need a little extension during the decoration phase. We'll see a bit more in a second once we've got these last couple in. Not going to run the foundations around the back, though, just to focus on the front aspect really here. So let's get our little side room on here. Just going to go with a fairly standard looking structure. I actually extended this out to be 2 foundations deep, and I wanted this to be set back from the front of the building, so rather than moving the door forward, I put an extra foundation on the back. But again, did that during the decoration phase. It's just because I wanted a decon arch in this camp, which meant using a fusion core generator, which doesn't fit on a single foundation. I might have been able to squeeze it in diagonally maybe, but that would have been nowhere near tidy enough. So, well, I changed my mind here. I want some roofs over these foundations, and I'm specifically going to put roofs in, but I also want to support it with some posts. So we'll put a couple of upper floors in here, and use this half-size one on a bit of an offset, just so that, there we go, we can get some posts in underneath. Now I chopped and changed my mind a fair bit on these posts as well. Initially I wanted them in specific places, but not every foundation. In the end I decided I didn't like how that looked, so I went back and put posts on the corner of every foundation using this technique. But again, I did the last bit of that during the decoration phase, so there's enough here for you to get the gist of how to do it. It's just over every foundation instead of just the specific ones I did here. Although that's not quite how you do it, because it's meant to be on the foundation. There we go. So, we'll do one more over on this corner. Good thing about having an upper floor there, we just snap to that and don't have to mess around with stairs. There we go. That last one on there. One here. We'll nudge it over so there's one for the corner. There we go. As I say, I'll tweak this all in a bit so that there's posts on every corner of a foundation all the way around. It just looks neater. I was going for an interesting style thing, and it just didn't look right because the posts aren't really chunky enough for what I had in mind. But for the roof, rather than using porches or anything like that, we're just going to use the log cabin flat set so that we've got the light coloured wood, pine I suppose it is, and the green roof on the top as well. And I'm specifically facing it forward this way with all the struts so that you've got a nice smooth front edge on it rather than the sort of unfinished sides, which end up sticking out the sides anyway, but we kind of look at this from the front, so it works. So I messed around putting a bridge in here, tried a couple of things, but in the end I just ran this sort of set of foundations out from where we are here, just offset from the door, mostly because that ruined plane wing there was getting in the way, just to give us a kind of bridge to get in. I did actually change all this out, as you can see, for an encampment bridge, but those railings on the side are just too tall for the rest of the build. They kind of hide what's going on with the main structure. They kind of block the view of it, which is not really the look I wanted, so I switched it out for foundations again afterwards. Although, when I did do this, I did notice that some of the posts that I did want to put in, I couldn't because they were getting in the way of putting the bridge in place, so I had to take them out, put the bridge in, and then put the posts in afterwards. Just sort of the idea here. Obviously, using foundations, that wasn't a problem, but with the bridge it was. But we're getting closer to the final idea with the posts there. So we'll just have a quick run around, get some of these railings in, and get the general gist of the structure coming together now. It's looking pretty good. So say we'll sort that bridge out in a bit. But there's one last thing I do want to do. Just hop up top here, and I want a post to support the corner of this roof here. So these railings are going to have to come out once I've got a floor in there. There we go. Otherwise this little post won't snap in. So whip those out of the way. Yep, have to have them both out. Nice. Now we put them back. And the roofs as well. So we have a nice supported corner of the roof there. And as I say, still need to double up the walls on the bottom half. Which, if you don't feel like doing or don't have the wallpaper, isn't really necessary. It's just I wanted a specific different shade for the brickwork. So, that's the structure in place. Let's head off and look at the tour now. And here we go. Much decoration later. Took me much longer to decorate this than it actually did to build it. Well, it always does, but in this case the difference was even more pronounced. But I like how it's come out. A nice glow. It kind of sits under the trees of the mire quite nicely, which is not bad going considering how tall it is in the middle there. We've got the collector on the side, and you just about spy the outhouse tucked at the back there. Bridge nicely decorated, running up from the front there. I dropped it down a little bit from the main foundation, put a stair on there. Just snap the stair onto the main foundation of the building, and then snap the foundation of the bridge straight through the staircase, just to change the heights up a little bit. Works quite nicely. Loads of stash boxes, loads of plants, loads of pumpkins, just to dress it up and make a nice kind of central aisle, make the whole thing look a bit more interesting so it's not too plain. I do quite like these stripped wood floors as well. They're nicer than the laminate ones, but a similar sort of shade. Get a bit of a decent look at the walls here that I've doubled up, as I say, sort of see the doubling effect on the window really. And put that brick wallpaper on the outside, because it's just a lighter colour but still has that red tone as well, so it works quite nicely. Obviously, with the building being so tiny, the workbenches are outside, but they all fit in quite nicely. Lots of decoration around, and it looks nice, busy and lived in. Stick our nose in our little generator room here. And there you kind of see the extension backwards, this sort of wooden bit at the back there. You can see the back right is where it sticks out beyond the back of the house. But nobody's looking at it from the back, so it doesn't matter that it's an odd shape. If it does bother you, there was enough budget left after this to extend the foundation all the way around, so you could put more stuff out there if you wanted. But I'm quite happy with this. Yeah, just filled in all the little gaps here and there with stash boxes and plants and stuff. Like cage lights up there just to illuminate the place. Didn't want too many oil lanterns around. Put a couple in there just because the walls at the back there weren't very well lit. And the wallpaper on the outside's kind of a feature, so definitely want to go for that. There's my vendor just tucked out by the door, so it's nice and easy to find. Last few workbenches as well. Yeah, did have to turn that armor bench around. I mean, I could have put less stash boxes and stuff around, but I kind of like the fact it sticks out. It's a bit different. Works just fine there, and it makes things a bit more interesting to look at as well. But the only place I could fit the chemistry bench, and same thing applies to the symptomatic as well, was the corners there, and I did have to take off railings and put extra foundations in so that I could push them all the way back, and then take the foundations out. And looking at the inside, fairly small, just 2x2, but compact, cozy, and I really like how this has come out. Use the modular couches there for a change as well. Ground plushie sitting on there that works quite nicely. Yeah, like the dark wallpaper as well. Wooden stuff contrasts quite nicely with some of the other stuff. The kitchen came out really nicely. It turned out to be really quite easy to do as well. I had some ideas that were a bit more complicated, but keeping it simple worked. A little sink in the corner there. With these counters, I actually managed to snap them, as you can see, through the post on the stairs there. The stairs were in first. All I had to do to do that was use the little square corner pieces rather than the long ones, because long ones don't work, and then turn off the snapping, and I could literally just place them straight through the post as if the post wasn't there. There's a couple of points where it started to realise what I was doing, but for the most part it was quite easy just to place those in, so as long as the snapping's off, it worked quite nicely and made a nice little contained kitchen area. Although I'm not sure it lines up quite neatly there. Might just be the angles. Loads of plants, loads of bits of decoration around. And we'll swing upstairs and have a little look at our also very compact bedroom. We've got some glass walls at the top there just to let a little bit of extra light in, which, this being the Mire, it kind of doesn't do much at all, but it changes up the textures a bit, which is nice. There's Daphne, transforming. Timed that very, very well. Managed to squeeze her little bedroom and her ally station in over the stairs there. I don't generally put allies in, but I needed something in that little corner, and tiny little kid's bedroom kind of worked. Not that the main bed doesn't look any less childlike, to be honest, with all the poshies on it, but I do like it nonetheless. Little balcony out here with a bench on it as well. Use the canoe bench, same one I used downstairs. Use the circus cage trailer thing doors here, just because they take up less room, frankly, and there's not a lot of space to begin with. Tiny little bit of clipping going on, but what can we do? Yeah, nice view out from there over the Mire as well. Lots of great colours, which I really like about this as well. Really kind of warm, cosy feeling build. Be a bit smoky with that grill downstairs, but other than that, you could do worse in the apocalypse. Yeah, Daphne's little bedroom there came out quite nicely. Just managed to squeeze everything in. She stays tucked in that corner as well, doesn't fall down the stairs or anything or go wandering around, so works quite nicely. I do like it. Yeah, nice homely, warming, cosy little living room down here as well. Quite happy with how this came out. I'm not going to do a nighttime tour on this one, as, well, to be honest, it's pretty darn dark, and you get the general idea anyway. But I have got a really nice picture of this place that I'll show you in just a second of it at night in a rad storm, and it came out really cool then, so I'll show you that in a minute, chuck it up on the screen. But yeah, it came out quite nicely. I think I will be hanging around here for a while. So, there we go, a nice little modern sort of cabin, in the Mire. I do hope you folks enjoyed this one. If you did, please do consider dropping subs and likes. I very, very much appreciate it. Down below the video, as usual, social media links, merch store, channel memberships, all that good stuff. If you want to support the channel that way, it massively helps out, and I really appreciate it. And if you get the chance to join us for live streams as well, we are, of course, playing the new content in 76 and playing Dead Space 2 as well at the moment, which is a lot of fun. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.